Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we like to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going today? Well, we had a little dip this morning. Everybody bought the dip starting about noonish. We're basically 2 points lower on the S&P right now. Dow's off 6.2, NASDAQ's up 6. But I suspect tomorrow is a down day. I really dislike the action that we have in Intel, and that has been running up into earnings. Earnings probably going to be okay for them. I just think that stock price probably a little bit rich for what we're going to get. But we'll find out right after the close tonight. I don't have any plays right now in the semiconductor space. I think that the better play, which is the one I have, is a play on basically a lot of problems happening in China and continuing on in China. Had a kind of an idea over the last couple of days, which is we've got the Chinese stock markets all closing next week, and that actually starts, I think, tomorrow. But with that and the virus scare, I think a lot of people might want to be getting out of some of their stocks. I still suspect that we could sell off into the weekend. A little bit of a push probably wouldn't be that bad either from just kind of lofty valuations going into these earnings. The upside hasn't been, when we've had earnings over the last week that have gone up, it's been 1-2%. Very much diminishing returns. If we have the outlier with a big drop tomorrow, going into weekend, going into the markets all closed in China, you see a lot of money kind of trying to run out of that area. Also, the market's probably not going to have a real good time with higher prices until we start seeing energy prices firm, but I don't see that either. Let's get the current read. Oil's down $1.46 at 55.28. And just update that to make sure, but I think that's right. Yeah, 55.28. 55.23. Glad I updated it. So we're about a little more than 2.5% lower. Natural gas, $1.92.5. So nothing really going on there. Gold was up a little bit more than it is now, 1562.40, which is up $5. Not bad, but no real big sign that it's ready to get out of this trading range that goes from about 1450 to 1670 maybe. We'll take a look at that. Other than that, it's hurry up and wait. I do see a lot of stocks that wouldn't take much to give them a little bit of a push to get onto the downside. There's just a lot of them up on very light volume. We'll look at some of those today. And that's it. You can give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, as always, you can put a message in the den. Let's do a little history, and then we'll move on with the rest of the shoe.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1941, Charles Lindbergh, a national hero, since his nonstop flight across the Atlantic, testifies before the House Foreign Affairs Committee on the Lend-Lease policy and suggests that the United States negotiate a neutrality pact with Hitler. One of the bad ideas of all time. Of course, he wasn't alone. The Kennedys, probably not all that hot on Hitler, but pretty much Joe Kennedy he hated the Jews kind of like the Nazis. I never understood all that, but I guess if you're raised that way, maybe that's the way it goes. Of course, all of these guys' fortunes diminished within the next year to the point of them being laughed off the national stage. And probably one of the bad things to do if you're interested in a long-term future in the United States is take the side of the bad guys. I mean, we saw that kind of in the last week or two. Instantly, we were going to be in the Third World War. We should fear the Iranians, as they were a first world power. Everybody wants to take the other side of the despot. Generally, historically anyway, a bad thing to do long term if you want to continue to be powerful in America. But on this day, it wasn't like anything new that we have. It's all happened before, but not unbelievable that we have lots of people wanting to apologize for evildoers. If we go back to the president before the last president, but that was it. Okay, what else do we have? Let's start looking at some charts because I wanted to see how a handful of these were actually doing. We got some other stuff going on here. Okay, WHO says, the World Health Organization, don't you think they could have been a little bit better? Says there's nothing to fear. It's all overblown. Nothing to hear. Go home. There's nothing to see here. Move along. All those people that died, we're just going to put them behind that curtain. Nothing happening here. But it's kind of what really propelled what's going on. Okay, so what do we want to look at? A handful of these stocks up at highs, see how they did today. Armstrong Worldwide Industries, the flooring company, last high 104.08 on July 29th, got to 106.37 today. That goes through that 104.08 high that had 1 million shares. What do we have so far today? 127,000 shares. And again, no sign on this right yet, but man, it wouldn't take a whole lot to see these things top off and pull back. I'm not looking for the end of the world, but a little bit. Aspen Technologies, this is another one getting extremely close to putting out some a huge prison labor. Okay. Big company. Aspen Technologies, AZPN. This looked very, very toppy out here. A couple closes below, one close above the 9-day moving, or the 3x3 moving average, and you'd have a nice double repo. That would take you right back to about 120 on that, and there are a lot of these. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And the S&P absolutely flat, Dow off 43, NASDAQ up 10. I had a question about Intel. What I don't like to see is one that's probably questionable break higher as it did yesterday with about a third lighter volume than it needed to break through. Now, maybe they know something I don't, but I doubt it. Anyway, a little bit more volume than usual, but not a lot. Today, you're kind of pulling back at 63, 68. I just don't see all the volume, all the new business in Intel. I could be wrong. I'm not short it. But generally, these kind of huge moves into an earning generally are short squeezes that are generally crushed. So we'll look for this. My guess is if they do disappoint, look for this to close be under 58.51 after earnings tonight. I think it may be the most vulnerable of the bunch. AMD has done a great job of going after them. What else do we have here? Celgene, okay, CRISPR, John Deere. I wanted to see how this did. This one's kind of starting to make its right shoulder back down to 162.04. That's the December 3rd low. You're definitely under the trend line. Bob Carver used to have a website. I'll check to see if he does at the break. But he used to have kind of an interesting idea about the patterns, the way he viewed them. But one of them was called basically he looked at it as at a contact lens, where you have this kind of bowl shaped, comes back over, but never makes it back up to the top, and then you break below the 162 in this case on John Deere, and you would go lower. But 162 probably a fairly good bet. Okay. This is a bunch of stocks in these real estate trust sectors are right up at their highs with a very light volume. No close right now underneath it. November 18th, $26.85 for EPRT. Hit 3 million shares, spiked it on the 22nd with half that volume. And you're just kind of holding up today with 320,000 shares, which is about a tenth of the volume we saw back in November. So you could be seeing some fairly decent double tops, but we should know in the next day or two. FTI Consulting, FCN's a symbol on this one. About 500,000 shares back on October 24th. Going through that yesterday with 158,000 shares. Today with just 80,000 shares. So again, as we push in a lot of these stocks, the volume is vapor. Genpact, symbol is G on this one, going back up into a spike on August 8th that had 3.26 million shares with 1.4 million shares yesterday. Today, kind of light volume at 212,000 shares. GWPH, the only legal marijuana company, came back up, tried to fill this gap down from the 6th of November on earnings. I think they got earnings coming up fairly shortly, but not another month. Anyway, got up into it, had no volume compared to the we'll call it 3.2 million shares. Most it could muster is a little less than 1 million shares back into January 22nd, and it's rolled back off. It is back under the trend line of the displaced moving average. Probably 108 on that is the first level of support. INT, which is World Fuel Services. This one actually would be fairly close to a buy if volume remains light. Bounced on the 31st of October with 750,000 shares. This had fairly light volume the last 3 days. Today's spike down is about where you wanted to see this thing, maybe $39.50 to $40. If you were thinking this was going to bounce back up. But, of course, 44.37 would be your target, and that's only about 10%, so I'm not really hot on that one. One of the ones that is very interesting to me today is the National Storage Affiliates Trust. I think this is a lot of those store-it-all places. Anyway, we've got this one going up. It's going to probably close under the 3x3 today, so that's going to be on a sell signal. Volume has been fairly light. You had 500,000 shares before at this level, January 15th. You came in with about 318,000 shares. Not a lot going on that one. Rio Tinto, some of these other stocks. Of course, this one's got a lot of gaps because it's an ADR. But a huge gap down today as we look at this one. And, of course, FCX had numbers this morning. The same thing. In fact, this was probably the worst looking sector of all of the sectors right now, and that's at XME. That's right, XME mining sector. But it could be getting ready to wash out. But this thing's been on a sell since, December 13th. You got a nice kind of doji out here that spiked lower. But I think at this point you have to look at next week, and hopefully if you were looking at the XME, you're looking at the $24.61 low of October 3rd of last year. Didn't have a lot of volume. You bounced. You actually have more energy on the way down than you had up, and that's why this one actually continues to look the weakest of the bunch. RRD, which is R.R. Donnelley and Sons. What do we have on this one? Actually not too bad looking. I would have liked to seen the energy on the way back down a little bit less. November 22nd, $3.15, 1.5 million shares. Yesterday, 610,000 shares. Today, just 282,000 shares. So that one actually finding a little bit of support. One of the ones that may be the weakest for European stocks, if we do see the technology sector starting to roll over, and this is SAP. Very, very close to giving a sell signal, but it may not come until tomorrow. Tested the previous July 3rd high of 140.62. Yeah, July 3rd high of last year with half the volume, and it has kind of come back. It certainly went above the previous high, closed below it. Pretty much giving you the signals that unless something drastic happens here, we've got a lot of stocks that could pull back. Not a huge amount, but at least some. We'll be back after this.
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ADCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Quick question from one of our viewers, and that is, am I bearish? And yeah, short term, kind of to the about the 30th of the month, I think that we've got limited upside, and that may be enough to get a few people to start selling off where everybody will think that there's some value in the market. But pretty lackadaisical highs and a lot of patterns that easily could turn extremely bearish over the next week. So I'm not a big fan of sticking my neck out being long here. I think some highly leveraged short positions could work fairly well over the next 10 days or so. What is it? Yeah, 7 days. Okay. What else? SMTC, Simtech Corporation. This one's got a triple high with about 100,000 shares lighter each time as it hits $55. No close under the 3x3 today, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it close underneath there tomorrow. Square, another one of these companies that blew up on earnings, has come back to try to fill that gap. Almost all of them in previous attempts for stocks like this at least filled the gaps a lot more. These are a lot of the stocks that have been destroyed have not been able to come back and fill back up. One of the main reasons I suspect that we have a little bit more weakness than we've had in previous pullbacks in a bull market, but a kind of at least temporarily bearish part of the bull market. Let's take a quick look at the TLT. You're back up at the 141.54 high of December 3rd. That had 13 million shares. You spiked it today within about 12 cents. You got a nice little doji out here. And again, just right now, about half the volume in that TLT that you had before. TRNO, which is Trino Realty Company. That's why I'm watching so many of these realty companies right now, is they will probably be the canary in the coal mine for a great deal of these. You want to be watching them, but double tops, very light volume. They're kind of pulling back a little bit. You got a little bit of a bounce on almost no volume in TRNO today. And, of course, the other one that I spend a lot of time on is VNQ. This one is certainly, if the markets pull back, interest rates are going higher. This is the one that's going to be the big outlier when it fails. No sign of that quite yet. You did have kind of a nice spike and gave it up all yesterday, but you also trying to push up a little bit. But again, no sign of strength from any of those today. What else do we have out here? Okay, Vocera, very. See if anything else out here really catches my eye. We just have a lot of these stocks that have been going straight up. Somebody asked me about this a while back, and I said I never thought much about this. This is the high frequency trading company, and as I said, as everybody gets high-frequency trading technology, then it's not good for anyone. This thing is sitting at lows with about the same volume previously. I don't know how eventually any of these companies make money. It's kind of like that old spy versus spy thing in Mad Magazine. They're always coming up with something more to go after. VLO, which is Valero Energy, spiked lower, not as bad as you would think, but I don't think that there's anything that says this is out of its downtrend yet. I'm fairly bearish on crude until it gets back down to about $50. We've had way too many rigs in Canada, almost double of what we had a few months ago. So there's a lot of supply most likely coming on from the Great White North. Again, a lot of these stocks just been going up forever. They're going to turn at some point. And generally, when you've gone up that fast, the pullback is fairly quick. Got a quick question on Tesla. Is there anything I see here right now that would change it? This one, my guess is it's going to be a couple of things I really see in late cycle bull markets is very dubious earnings forecasts like this end up seeing double and triple in a very short amount of time. I don't see anything out here that says pull the trigger short on Tesla right away, although we've seen some of the let's do this again. We've seen some of the heavy shorting kind of come out for a few days. It was back again yesterday. So I'm not really surprised to see the market kind of going sideways. But, in the next couple of days, or maybe even 3 or 4 days, it wouldn't be beyond the scope of seeing a lot of these make some double repo patterns. That would be a good sign of these exhaustive moves higher. One of the other ones out here in the biotech sector looks like it's susceptible to a big pullback right now is VRX, which is Valiant Pharmaceuticals. This has done nothing but go up since October 7th. And as we look at what's going on today, these things had kind of gone up. They're kind of going sideways now. You dip below that, and you could probably see a fairly quick pullback to about the $23 level. Give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Wesco International, WCC. On this one, went up to previous highs, continues to look weak. Support probably down around the 52.5 area. You're going to need a little bit more, but heavy volume on the downside on that one. Okay. Distributes electrical, industrial, and communications equipment, repair and operating, and original manufactured products, construction materials in North America, internationally. Company sells general supplies such as wiring devices, fuse, terminals, connectors, boxes, enclosures. So kind of weakness on the business side, not on the home side of the business. What else do we have out here? Yen. We talked a little bit about this one, which is the bull share. Pretty nice gap down, volume okay. Again, kind of troublesome to see that this may be the only way to see ways in and out of China over the next week. So keep a look at yen, it's Y-I-N-N, and yang, Y-A-N-G, over the next week to see what's going to happen. You had kind of a nice bounce up into what's the first resistance for yang, which is this gap down that goes back to the 17th of December. You got into it, but you got a lot of volume today. A little bit of a retrace, but not bad. That huge bounce a couple days ago certainly saw the beginning of these big moves. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the Tax Opportunity Zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And looking at Boeing today, having a little bit of a bounce. The CEO came out and started talking a little bit. One of the other things I dislike about markets that are toppy is you tend to see the dogs bounce fairly well. And in fact, as the market goes down, these tend to go up. One of the reasons why is if you've had a big short position on a stock, you want to have a market where you can pull in the shares and not push the price up too much. One of the things you will see, especially on massively shorted stocks, which Boeing wasn't for a while, it is kind of now, especially kind of lows, you start seeing a lot of people pile in, especially in heavy volume days. So you get a little bounce out of those, but generally that's kind of short-lived. I think you could see this thing go up to the trend line, which is about 320, pull back a little bit. My guess is that Boeing would probably be a buy maybe at the beginning of February, unless you get some kind of special announcement. But you'd like it to go up a little bit and then kind of pull back on lighter volume and confirm that you've got some kind of low in place, although support does look good somewhere around the 305 area. But, we look. Microsoft continues to be rocking the Casbah. This one, of course, is fairly close to getting on a little bit of a sell signal that would take you back to 158 on that, which is not the end of the world, but it is $10 down. And I think people that haven't seen a market in a year really pull back significantly, or that you can remember it pulling back significantly, may be absolutely shocked to see any pullback whatsoever. That would put nothing in the way of a bull market rally. But kind of interesting, a lot of these stocks are actually just at the point of whiffing any kind of volume at all, which also makes me a little nervous. Let's take a look at Netflix. A lot of people shorted yesterday. Again, the worst thing you can have is a lot of people shorting this little black part on the end. It kind of looks like a little matchstick, except the red and the black are and probably on the different spot. Anyway, pretty heavy shorting yesterday that popped today. Of course, all the usual suspects out running and saying that this stock is going to the moon. The volume is not quite there today. As I've said, ideally for Netflix, if you wanted to short this thing, you're basically looking at about $350. So you don't have that far to go. What do we have the high today? 342, maybe another $8, which is not a big deal on that one. That's kind of where you'd want to be looking to pull the trigger short on that one, which you might see tomorrow. In the S&P, we're basically up 1. Nobody's dying to get in above that price. NASDAQ's up 12, Russell's up 2 points. So not much happening. We'll keep an eye on it. We've got crude at 55.78, gold at 15.62.70. Sugar down 10 cents, no big deal. Anything else on this list? Don't see it. Anyway, had a little bit of a thought that we do have this kind of perfect storm setting up over the next week, and that is this virus, along with the Chinese markets being closed. So we'll see how that happens. I think, like I said, I don't see a lot of room for higher prices. I can see a lot of people just saying, hey, I'm going to stay out. But like I said, too many of these stocks are setting up. All they need is one lower close to actually put the nail in the coffin for a lot of these. And again, it's not going to make these stocks long-term bearish, but it would mean that a lot of these have patterns that could see a 5% pullback over a week. And I think a lot of people would be shocked. One of the things I like to be is on the other side when everybody believes that the market can do nothing but go higher. And, of course, the shorts quit shorting. It's not beyond the scope of reason of seeing a fairly big move. Again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. Can you discuss how you see fund buying or selling into the last few weeks of, or weeks of the month? Fund buying comes in the last, by the charter of these ETFs, comes in the last 2 days or 3 days of the month for 85% of the ETFs. So they have to have 100% of the money invested at that time. There's no law that says if they do it on the fourth day of the beginning of the month, business day of the month, that's something different. So I think the big thing you want to look at on that is just that somewhere at the end of the month, like 31st of most month, you're going to start seeing a little bit of money come in. But generally before that, you see the markup. And that is that everybody knows that money's having to be spent, and they're generally not wanting to sell on the cheap on those days. So they'll mark the price of the stocks up. The funds get to buy at the highs. And, of course, rinse, wash, repeat. So we'll keep an eye on that. Okay. Question about how much lower do we have to set off a lot of those? I think a 0.5% lower close tomorrow would be enough to put a lot of these stocks on a sell that have been on nothing but a move higher. So, like I said, not expecting the end of the world. I am expecting, though, that we could see significantly maybe a 10-day period of lower prices, but we shall see. Question about Gush, Gush. Okay. Of course, this recently split back out. You're back where it kind of split back in December. Volume's a little less out here. Again, I think what we're probably going to see just from the amount of rigs around the world, not so much in the United States, but certainly in Canada. They've been on an absolute tear to get in on selling oil. They're, big part of their economy is selling all kinds of commodities to the rest of the world, like crude and other things, metals. But it's tough. Question about Hack from Jimmy. Jimmy wants to know what Hack's doing. Here's where you really get into some dangerous territory where you can give up a lot of your profits fairly quickly. But this pattern's going to take a few more days like most of these. You get a couple of days higher, And the next turn down generally is where the big money comes off. So maybe a day or two, maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, just to set up kind of pullback.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're back. If you have any more emails here, yeah, I have one. Of course, you can come in here. Questions about the IYT. Just like I said, a lot of these things are really kind of tired, and you're not seeing the kind of volume that should blow out the previous high. Same thing on the IYT. We're looking for something like 650,000 shares. As you broke through 200, you ended up with 305,000. You've pulled back down. You're under it. As long as the IYT's under the 3x3 or 9-day moving average, it's probably the same on both. They're not that different. Yeah, as long as it's under the 9-day, you're kind of still on a sell signal. And, of course, you went through those fairly nicely. You're coming up a little bit out here, but on IYT, I kind of just like a lot of the big industrial companies like John Deere. Those things kind of look like they're ready for a little bit of a pullback. So we'll look at that. Another question about FCX. Do I see anything different? Man, that whole XME is kind of on a washout. You got back down to 1122 today. Could that be support? It could, but you came down on some decent volume, so you're going to at least have to consolidate for a while. The XME may find some kind of washout low, but I think that's going to be next week. I don't think it's today. So maybe late next week, you could look at some of these again. One day does not make a trend. You did come down and basically fill this gap that goes back to the 6th of December. But you came down with volume and today and a big gap down. I don't see anything that says that that's over quite yet for a signal. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.